Hey there, this is the Top Floor Please podcast, where women in leadership rise together. I'm your host, Melissa McCormick, executive coach and founder of the Grace and Salt Leadership Academy. This is your space to find clarity, grow in confidence, and lead with bold authenticity. Whether you're navigating the boardroom, building your team, or stepping into new territory, you're not alone. Let's talk real challenges, real growth, and real leadership, because the top floor isn't just a place, it's a mindset. All right, let's get started.
All right, we are back to the Top Floor Please podcast. So this is episode number 4. And today we're going to talk about tears in the boardroom, right? How to stay calm and collected as a leader. A couple episodes ago, I talked about quiet leadership and staying calm under pressure. So this is all about how to lead as a CEO, even if you don't have that title. So it's important to try to keep those emotions in check, and sometimes we can't. So I just really wanted to spend some time talking about it. I'm just looking at my notes here. So, leadership control matters. And I don't know if you've had conversations or you've been in a meeting or you've witnessed a CEO who lost it. Maybe, it was high pressure or they just weren't getting the answer they wanted. And so they end up, I was in a meeting one time and this guy just bangs his fist on the chest or on the chest, best on the desk or on the table. And he's like, what in the Sam hell are we gonna, and it's like, really, was that really necessary? It was not. The team didn't respond more because he got upset and swore and slammed his fist on the counter. And it really did nothing for our opinion of him. So try to keep those emotions in check. Now, typically with women, some women, when they're frustrated, get mad. Someone, when they're frustrated, cry. And so depending on where you are within that emotional roller coaster, actually is going to depend on how you need to control those emotions. But the one thing that I want to talk about is the science behind emotional control. So first, I want to, kind of explore those emotions and why it's so difficult to keep them in check during high stress moments. When something triggers an emotional response, like a challenging conversation or a high pressure meeting, like I was explaining, well, your brain activates that fight or flight response, right? So I think it's the amygdala, I believe. Now, don't quote me on that one because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's the amygdala. That is the fight or flight or freeze response, right? So that goes back to the caveman days when when you recognize that there was a threat around or a danger around, then how are you going to respond? Are you going to flee? Like, so you're now in this conversation and you are not wanting to be in the conversation. So are you going to fight? Are you going to get defensive? And are you going to just like come at that person as your defense mechanism? Or are you going to flee? Are you going to be like, okay, I'm out of here. Like I'm going to end this conversation as quickly as possible because I want out of here. Right. So that's that response that's happening. So we need to figure out how to calm that, as they call it, the lizard brain. So how do we control it so that it doesn't control us? Make sense? Okay. So we can train our brains to stay calm and to stay focused, even in those really intense situations. So here's just a couple tips that you can practice. And one is pause and breathe. Breathe in. So like when your emotions rise, that first step is to pause. Pause. You can feel it. Like your neck might be getting red, your face might be getting red. You can tell your heartbeat is starting to beat, right? Or to beat faster. So I want you to pause and I want you to breathe. And in fact, your best tool that you can take with you anywhere is yours. My son-in-law calls it my what does he call it? My support. I forget what he calls it, but it's my support water bottle. My emotionally support, that's what he calls it, my emotionally support cup, because I always have it with me everywhere I go. So take your bottle of water with you, because when you could breathe and you could take a drink of water, that is going to interrupt that fight or flight or freeze reaction or response that your body is going through, right? That simple action can instantly help you regain control. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about that. Pause, breathe, take a drink of water, and then calm yourself, right? And self-talk, like tell yourself what you want to say in those moments. That matters, right? If you tell yourself, I can handle this, or I'm losing control, you're more likely to panic. So instead, proactively positive practice positive self-talk. Remind yourself, I've got this. I'm calm. I'm focused. Those affirmations, they can shift your mindset to keep those emotions in check. So just a couple tips. I'm going to put I have a handout that I'll put in the show notes, so that with regards to emotions, that should help. And then I'd love to hear from you. These are just a few that have come from my own experience or experience of others, and that I've been, gathered and put together. So I'd love to hear how you've been successful at managing your emotions, whether that's tears or, your reaction to run away or to deal with things, right? So, okay. So how do we develop that emotional intelligence? So we're going to dig into that a little bit. EQ, or emotional intelligence, is the ability to understand and manage your emotions. As well as the emotions of other people, right? It's bigger than that. It's also about reading the room and knowing about that. It's a key skill for leaders, though, because you need to be able to read that other person to know without them even saying. You want to be able to read them to know their state of mind at that moment. And also you need to, be aware of your own state of mind as well. Emotional intelligence is so important. It's just such a key skill for just leading in general. So anyway, here's a couple things. So first of all, self-awareness, right? The first step to emotional mastery is self-awareness. You need to recognize what triggers your emotions, and then how do you calm them. You need to understand, is it stress? Is it a particular person? Is it a topic? Is it a type of situation? Like, what is it that triggers you to go high right or to run away, right? What is that going to be? Once you know what sets you off, then you can take a proactive step to manage it. If you know this person drives me absolutely up a wall, then prepare and prep before you're going to have to talk to that person. Don't avoid the person. I don't want you to avoid the person. I want you to speak to them, but you're going to speak to them in a different way. Right? And so that is very important. And then it's self-regulation. Self-regulation is the ability to manage your emotions, right? Especially in those difficult situations. It's about choosing how you respond instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions. It's training yourself to hit pause before you react. The more you practice, the easier it gets. So, one tool that's available is the Esther Project, and that's our Grace and Salt Leadership Academy. We definitely talk about this quite a bit. Practical steps for staying calm, mindfulness practice. There's 3 of them I want to talk about today. One is mindfulness practice. Mindfulness helps you stay in the present moment. When you're mindful, and I know it's kind of a buzzword today, but it really is a great way to just describe how we need to be totally present. So mindfulness, or when you're mindful, you detach from overwhelming emotions and you choose to respond. You make a choice instead of just responding and just reacting and maybe lashing out at somebody that you will regret later. Being mindful means that you are choosing how you're going to respond. And you remember that quiet leadership. You're going to calm yourself. And let's just say you can't. Let's just say that you are ready. You can't even open your mouth because you are so mad right now. Then leave the situation. It's okay to say, I really need a moment. I'll be back, but I need to take a moment, and I just need a moment, and leave. That's all you have to say. I just need a moment, and leave. Remove yourself from the situation, because you do not want to have an incident that then gets spread through the organization because you couldn't control your emotions or something. Maybe you were even having a bad day and this just caught you wrong, right? You need to learn how to manage that stress. With companies today that are working, they want employees to do more with less people. That's the way it's been, quite frankly. I'll just, spoiler alert, that's been the way it is since I started in 1987. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. But in doing that, we just have to get much better at prioritization and setting boundaries. I know it sounds super simple, and it's easy for me to say, but that is the secret sauce. That is the key to reducing stress. You're not going to eliminate it, but reducing stress. Okay, I want you to reframe the situation. So the second strategy that I want to talk to you about is reframing the situation. When your emotions start to take over, reframe. Okay, reframe. Ask yourself, what's the opportunity here? Or how can I turn the situation into something positive? I want you to reframe. Like if this person is coming at you and they're upset or whatever it might be, then I want you to pause. I want you to speak calmly. And then in your mind, just, okay, listen, really listen empathetically, so that you can put yourself into their shoes and really understand what are they really saying? Like, is there something more to this? Like, this seems a little ridiculous that we're getting so upset over this topic. And then start asking them questions out of curiosity, not out of judgment, out of curiosity. Okay. Maybe you got an email and the email was right. The email was right. Like you messed up or something like that. I want you to reframe it so that it helps shift your perspective. So that way it can instantly help you feel more in control and less emotional. So your instinct might be you want to go back to them. Don't. Reframe that situation. I may have told you guys this before or not, but our CFO, the one gentleman that I absolutely adore, would tell me all the time, Melissa, don't let the wire get wrapped around the axle. Meaning, if you don't know what the other person's situation is and you're reading into it, and you don't know the whole story, you're getting all upset over something that may not even be a big deal. Let's find out what the full facts are, put them on paper, and then we can make a really good decision. And then we'll know the entire story. And then if we're mad, then we're mad. But if we don't know the whole thing, don't get all kerfuffled because you don't know the whole story. There's always two sides to everything. Anyway, so just a little bit of advice. And finally, physical grounding techniques. So what is this? Well, sometimes that best way is to calm down is through physical grounding. Excuse me. Like gripping the edge of your chair or tapping your feet can help you reconnect to your body and bring your focus back. These actions, they anchor you in the present moment and help quiet your mind. So three techniques: mindfulness practice, reframing the situation, and physically grounding techniques. All right. So here's the real talk, right? So we do real talk every time. So here's the real talk. Emotional mastery doesn't happen overnight. We've been talking about this is episode number 4. So it's a practice, it's a muscle that you need to build and you need to strengthen it. And some days we get it right and some days we don't. It's okay. Give yourself grace, right? That's what we do at Grace and Salt Leadership Academy. We give ourselves grace. It is about progress. It is not about perfection. Our leadership journey is going to be like this. It is not going to be like this, right? When you work on that emotional intelligence, this is why we started with this foundation, because it is so important to build upon. When you start with that emotional intelligence and that self-regulation, the result is the ability to remain calm, confident, right? Quiet leadership, no matter what the world throws at you. Quiet leadership. If you want more structured guidance and support, the Esther Project or the Grace and Salt Leadership Academy is always available. So please do send us a direct message to learn more. Again, it's not for everybody, but it could totally be for you or somebody you know. Please do me a big favor as we wrap up. I need you to share this podcast. I need you to spread the news so that we can impact as many ladies and men as possible. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Emotional mastery is practice. It is not overnight. Keep working on it. Stay calm, stay confident, and I really look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks for hanging out on the top floor. If today's episode gave you something to think about or a little boost, share it with your friend and keep the momentum going. And hey, if you're ready to find your voice and lead with clarity and confidence, check out the Esther Project. It's our foundational program at Grace and Salt, and it's built for women like you who are ready to rise. You can learn more at graceandsaltleadership.com. I'll drop the link in the show notes, and remember, you don't have to lead like everyone else, just lead like you. All right, I'll see you next time.